Hi guys, Miss Carly here. I'm just wanting to give you a bit of a hula hoop lesson today. And I'll start from the start, so if you've never done it before, then you can get a bit of an idea of what the basic techniques are. So to begin, you just want to think about getting your hips moving. So first of all, we'll do it nice and big. Hips, feet nice and wide, hands on hips, and doing big circles. So nice big circles, and then back the other way. So this is probably a bit of a big circle for hula hooping. So for hula hooping, you want to be feet more underneath your hips. And what you're actually thinking about is like you're a stick. So can you imagine what it'd be like if a stick was to do a circle? So it's like you're moving your body in a small circle. And of course, when we would be hula hooping, it would be with your arms out to the side. So it's like you're a stick and you're circling. And as you circle, you're going to contact your hip with the hula hoop. So rather than, you don't need to go too big like you're surfing, or also don't release too much through your meal, so don't be too wobbly. See if you can be a stick, put your arms out to the side, and you're doing small circles, kind of with the middle of your body, like this. And with your hula hoop, it's actually, even though you wouldn't think, it's a little bit easier with a bigger hoop, because your bigger hoop will go slower. So then your body's got more time to figure out how to keep the hoop going. But if it's quite small, it'll be really fast and harder to do. Doesn't mean that you can't do it, but if it's smaller, you'll have to go faster. And if it's a slightly bigger hoop, it will go slower and you'll have more time to kind of figure out how you do it. So this hoop is not a bad size for me. It's a bit smaller than what I would usually use. I usually like to use one that will go up to my hips, so a little higher. But this one's fine, it will just be a bit smaller. So how you want to start is put the hula hoop and start it on your back. So that's a really important part, so that when you spin, it's in contact with your body. So make sure when you're holding it, so you've got your hands to the side, holding it nice and tight, and you can feel it on your back. And then you're going to start to spin it. For me, I like to spin to the left. And you can just try it both ways. None is right or wrong. One will just probably feel better. And when you spin, if I'm going to the left, then my right hip is trying to do that stick circle, and my right hip is contacting the hoop. And when it bounces onto the hoop or circles into the hoop, that's how you're keeping it up. So make sure you don't go too fast. So you push it. I'm going to push see how my right hip here, every time it comes in contact with the hoop, it's pushing it around. So see, I'm doing my small circle, and I would almost say you can focus a bit more on pushing into this right hip. So still doing a circle, but pushing into the hip. So see how I'm pushing here, hands out to the side. And then if that's easy for you, what you can try is walking as well. So as you walk, you push your feet into the ground to keep your hoop going. So it doesn't matter how many tries it takes you, or everything takes practice, but just remember to start it on your back. And then if you're pushing to the left, you're going to try and do your stick circles to get your right hip kicking it up, and I'll show you also to the right. So I'm not as good at this side, but you push. And I'm pushing my left hip in. I'll show you that from the side. So I'm doing my small circle, focusing on this left hip to keep the hoop up. And notice I'm not doing anything crazy with my hands, because sometimes if you go crazy with your hands, it might make the hoop fall down. So try and keep them still if you can. So just again to the right, to the left. Yes, I'm pushing into my right hip. And then if I'm going to the right, I'm pushing into my left hip. And then if you're feeling really comfortable, maybe you can go for a walk in a circle or a walk around the room. Great. So just remembering, starting it on your back, stick circles, and whichever way you spin it, if you're spinning to the left, use your right hip to keep it up. Spin it to the right, use your left hip to keep it up. Awesome. Have fun with that. And then with your hand, there's two ways to do it. So one, the most simple way is just on your wrist here. So then you're just using, it's a similar principle to your body. You're using your arm like a stick and you're doing small circles. So we'll try that one first. So you're going to pop it on the top of your wrist. So I'm doing my right arm because I'm right arm dominant. And then you're going to use your left arm to spin the hoop. And then you want to keep in contact with the hoop and see how I'm doing little circles with my hand. And then if that's easy, then what you might do is go both hands in. So you do that. When you see the big, see this here? There's a big circle at the top. That's when you've got room to put your hand in, like this. And then you can swap to the other arm. So that will take a bit of practice, and you just have to see, whilst you're spinning, while it's up here, there's room for you to put your other hand in. And another thing you can do, if you're finding this one tricky, sometimes what you can do is hold on to someone else's hand. So say I'm holding on to someone's hand here, and they help you do the circle. So that's another thought if you've got a parent or somebody there. So just show you again, hand here, spin. You're doing small circles with the hand. So stick arm, doing small circles. And then if you see the room, so you've got the gap at the top here, you can kind of stick your hand in a few times and you can swap or go both arms as well. Great. So you want to give that one a go first. So you've got the feeling of keeping a stick arm, doing a small circle. And then the other option, which is a little more tricky, is actually having it in your hand. So you can do that in front or up above your head. It's up to you. But out in front is start with that because then you get an idea. So what you're doing when it's in your hand, same thing, but the hoop's in between your thumb and your pointer finger. And you're doing the circles. And what I like to do is palm up to the roof. You're holding, while it's in contact with your palm, you're holding. And then when it's coming across the back of your palm, you have to let go and grab. Yeah? So palm down, let go, let it roll over the top and grab. So palm down, you keep holding it, let go, let it roll and grab back on. Yeah? So try that a few times. So you twist the wrist, let it come behind your hand and on. Twist, behind and on. And then what that looks faster is you actually don't grab onto it and force it. You just open and close your hand and let it just come around. You kind of use the momentum. Cool. And then also you can just keep your hand flat without grabbing on if you feel comfortable. But I like to grab onto it just slightly as it comes around, and that helps to keep it flat. And then same thing with this one, to join to the other hand. What you can do is when it's on the back of your hand, your other palm could maybe come to join and you could do it on both. And then you could maybe try it on the other side. Yeah. So that's some hula hoop basics. So remember, you're going to be your stick shape to do it on your waist. Remember, a big hoop might be a bit easier. So if you have a choice of hoop, you might try another one. And then for your hand, you can try it on your wrist, doing your stick circles, or you can pop it in your hand here and use open and close or just keep your hand like this and do the circles. So enjoy. I hope everyone's staying safe and doing their study as well. And thank you. See you back in the studio sometime.